Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in absolutely lovely Lauderdale by the Sea. Beautiful day out there, very calm. And speaking of calm, that's exactly what we've got here going on right now, folks. The calm before the storm. And if you don't think we're going to see a storm, well, you've never lived through hurricane seasons then, have you? And I'm not talking about hurricanes. I'm talking about economic storms. Why people are in such big denial about this is just beyond me. And here goes the phone. It's already ringing. And let's move along to what we're going to talk about. I got something new for you, folks. Actually, it's nothing new. It's something I did over the weekend, and it was called the Weekend Wrap-Up. And what I was going to do is every weekend I was going to go over all the comments and spend time answering each of the comments in the shows during the week. Well, I got through last weekend's weekend wrap-up. It ended up being 35 minutes, and I realized if I keep getting more comments, there's no way I'd be able to keep up with that. It turned into a 2-hour weekend wrap-up. So I'm going to try something new, and I'll get to that in a little bit here, where I'm going to read the comments on a daily basis from the prior show that you listened to. So let's see if that works, and I'll do that in a little bit here. We'll get to that in a minute. Meanwhile, a few things I want to talk about. This is something I've said like 1,000 times in the last year and a half or so. I felt like I fell asleep and I woke up in a whole different world, and this is a world I don't even recognize. Between the sickness that was running around, economic issues, people it's just crazy. I feel like I'm living in what I've commonly called bizarro world. And I've mentioned the word bizarro world like so many times because I feel like I woke up in bizarro world. But funny thing is, I've never been a comic book reader, so I had no idea. I just went to look at Bizarro World to look for a picture or something, and what popped up? This. I guess there really was a Bizarro World, and I should have read more comic books as a kid, but I love this. Take a look at this. Far out in space. I think I woke up here. Far out in space there exists the goofiest planet in the entire universe, the square Bizarro World. It is a home planet of the pathetic, stupid, bizarro creatures who are imperfect duplicates of Superman and friends. Jesus, excuse me for saying that, but I think I woke up there in Bizarro World. You too, obviously, if you're listening to this. And I was reading it here, and again, this is comics. It has nothing really to do with gold or silver. It kind of does, just kind of the way I feel about the whole world and what's going on with precious metals and economics and politics and everything. But Bizarro Code. Us do opposites of all earthly things. Us hate beauty, us hate ugliness. Big crime to make anything perfect on Bizarro World. So I got to look more into Bizarro World here. It's kind of, I don't think I'm going to start reading comic books, but wow, I do kind of feel like I woke up in Bizarro World, don't you? Anyway, make a comment down there and I'll answer it probably tomorrow. Let's move on to privacy and cryptocurrencies, because the next article we're going to talk about is archaic, and we're not going to read this whole article, but the reason I'm bringing this up, archaic revenue authorities need to move into the 21st century to effectively tax crypto. South Africa has become one of the latest countries to start hunting down crypto investors. And again, we've talked about this for a long time. I've always known there's nothing private. A lot of people get into cryptocurrencies thinking that they can hide money and that there's privacy and that absolutely untrue. At some point, they're going to know everything you do with cryptocurrency. It's going to be worse than your bank account, folks. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me at some time they'd be able to lock down your crypto accounts if you owe money, or maybe even take it out directly. But meanwhile, the idea that you have privacy in crypto accounts, unless I'm missing something here, and again, hey, this is a great time to put it in the comment section and tell me what I might be missing, but I don't think there's any privacy in the crypto world unless you're able to hide it through a bank or something like that. You still have to be able to cash that and get that cryptocurrency converted into dollars. So my feeling is that there is no privacy in crypto. In fact, just the opposite. You know how they tell you, don't put anything on your computer or online that you don't want the whole world to see? Well, there you go. I believe that's the same thing with cryptos. Don't buy cryptos that you don't want every government and every regulating and every taxing agency to see, because I believe at some point they're going to have the ability to look at every single thing you do through crypto. And again, I think that's the point of governments eventually taking over cryptos, is to remove any privacy that you have with your finances. But the beauty of gold is physical gold, not paper gold. They know everything you own on paper gold. But the beauty of physical gold is that there is a lot of privacy involved with owning gold. There's no yearly requirements for you to send in any information about your gold. You could hide it in your backyard. You could lose it. You don't even ever have to sell it, but nobody knows you own it, more or less. If you're buying gold with cash, and a lot of you small stackers are, and small gold guys are, you have a lot of privacy. And in fact, even if you're buying $1 million of gold with a check, you still have a lot of privacy, because once you bought it, again, there's no regulation that says you have to report it to anyone. You don't have to show it to anyone. There is regulation saying, capital tax gains that you have to pay when you go to sell it. But meanwhile, there's a lot of privacy involved with owning precious metals, way more than there is with cryptos, and I'm pretty certain of that. So anyways, I just said anyways like a machine gun 3 times, 4 times, 1, 2, 3 machine. Archaic revenue authorities need to move into the 21st century, so it looks like that South Africa is moving into taxing and finding out who owns cryptocurrencies. This is interesting. Blockchain offers the means to tax crypto. Now, I didn't know this. There's a missing link here, and it's huge. The actions of these tax authorities acting on behalf of central banks disclose the fact that governments are failing dramatically to keep pace with technological developments. They're completely ignoring any opportunity to use very technology underpinning digital assets to assist them in their efforts. Every single transaction involving cryptocurrency is recorded permanently on a blockchain. Nobody needs to get a piece of paper from a centralized exchange attesting to the transaction that can be easily identified by a public address. Referring to the actions of the SARS CEO of cryptocurrency exchange BitByte, or whatever, Bybit, Ben Zhu sums it up nicely. The decentralized nature of cryptocurrencies represents the future of money and requires a paradigm shift from current thinking. Proposals of a crypto regulatory, here you go folks, regulatory framework should incorporate regulatory technology and crypto native solutions such as smart contracts and not default to the old standard that is showing us age of digital payments and central. Well, anyway, it looks like cryptos are in for a lot less privacy than people thought, and being able to tax it much more easier than most people thought. So if you think that you had a nice safe place to hide your money, I don't think so. That's just my opinion again. Comments below, please, and I will answer them tomorrow. This is a great little cartoon here. A lot of people are selling off their paper gold, and a lot of institutions and big corporations they're not holding on to their gold right now. They're selling their paper gold, and this is the reason why you're seeing gold prices fall. It's not physical sellers, because you can't find any physical. In fact, there's more physical buyers out there than there are physical sellers at the moment. So don't sell your gold, folks. Don't sell your precious metals. Don't panic, and don't be like the other lemmings right there. You're going to just fall off a cliff with them. Buy the friggin' dips. That would be my suggestion here, and this is a great dip in the price of gold right now. Gold is dipped quite, I mean, we're might even see below 1,600 here shortly, but meanwhile, buy these dips with gold. It's a great opportunity. But funny enough, silver hasn't dipped that low at all. Silver's kind of still hanging on to that $26 range, although we could see it drop a little bit below 26. Silver didn't get monkey hammered quite the way gold did, and to me, this just provides a great opportunity to buy the friggin' dip, especially with gold right now. Really, really super cheap. Unfortunately, the premiums are still high, which kind of flies in the face of what you would think. You would think that with the markets being way down, there's a lot of gold out there because a lot of people have sold gold. Well, that's not the case. There is no gold available. If there was plenty of gold available, the premiums wouldn't be so expensive right now. Peter Schiff, good article on Zero Hedge and also on shiftgold.com. Peter talks about anyone betting against gold is going to lose, and I agree with Peter 100% on this. Gold and silver continue to struggle with significant selling pressure. Absolutely, that's what we're seeing right now. Last Friday, gold dropped some $40 as bond yields rose, and again, that's what we talked about this earlier. And Peter kind of sums up what we were talking about in the last couple shows. About the bond yields and how people would assume that when bond yields rise, that people are going to get out of gold and they're going to get out of gold and cryptos and jump into bonds and things. But Peter brings up a really, really, really good point here, that the rise in bond rates is insignificant. It's nothing, and it's not going to last long. It's just temporary. It's what we've been talking about for a long time. That's why when people panic and say, well, should I sell my gold? Should I sell my silver? I have to ask the question, do you sincerely believe the economy is any better right now? Do you sincerely believe it's going to get any better? No, I think this is a lot of whitewashing over the fence that they keep doing, and it's not going to get any better. In fact, things are going to get worse, and Peter kind of points this out here. Let's read his article a little bit. There continues to be this expectation that rising inflation and economic growth are going to force the Fed's hand and cause it to pivot to tighter monetary policy sooner than expected. But in his podcast, Peter Schiff reminds us that inflation is not a threat to gold. And I agree 100% with him. And he says anyone betting against the yellow metal and betting on the dollar is going to lose. Agreed again. The yellow metal is down about 9% on the year and about 17% from the high from last August. Of course, we all know that. We follow this on a daily basis like I do. You do, I do. So we know that we've had a good sell-off. But again, good opportunity to buy the dips, as I've been saying. The catalyst for the sell-off in gold has been the sell-off in the bond market. Bond yields continue to spike. On Friday, the yield of a 10-year pushed as high as 1.61% and the 30-year hit 2.4%. Peter said it's one of the biggest intraday moves in the bond market that he's ever seen. Gold and silver have been pressured because the mainstream view that the sell-off, and we talked about this yesterday, in the bond market is a sign of economic growth. That is not the sign of economic growth. This is false. This is manipulated bond rates, manipulated, it's not like the Fed is saying, well, the economy is so good, we better raise, they're doing what they have to do to keep this economy afloat. And there's very few people that recognize this. Peter Schiff's one of them, you're one of them, and I'm one of them. That's why we buy gold. And the Fed will have to respond to inflation with monetary tightening sooner than expected. Some of the economic data seem to support the growing economic narrative. Personal income shot up 10% in January, but as Peter pointed out, the big jump in personal income corresponds with stimulus checks arriving in the mail. Absolutely true. If you back out all the government transfer payments, welfare, unemployment, etc., personal income actually declined in January. Remember, 27% of Americans receive some sort of government check, whether it's a stimulus check, whether it's a welfare check, whether it's a retirement check, your Social Security check. 27% of Americans receive a government check of some sort. That's pretty frightening, actually, if you think about it, folks, because what's that mean? 67% of Americans are paying for that somehow. So people actually earning money that went down. But people receiving checks from the government that went up. But that is not how a strong economy is made. Absolutely. You don't have a strong economy by printing money and selling it to people who aren't working. Spot on, Peter. Absolutely correct. I don't know how people are mistaking this with a strong economy and getting out of gold and buying bonds at such a measly rate. 1.6%. The cost of living is going to surpass that at some point. You think that's safe? I don't think so. Peter says you build a strong economy when people are employed productively making things or providing services. That's not what we're doing. This is not economic growth, and that's 100%. As soon as you see through all that, you are no longer a lemming. And you don't want to be this guy here thinking about joining the lemmings. Trust me right now, you're right. You've been right. All the other people are going to fall off a cliff here soon, folks. And not all the people, but people that believe this bullshit. And Peter goes on to say, of course there is more stimulus coming down the pike. The House has already passed 1.9 million stimulus plans. So there's more money coming, folks. So, you're going to have the illusion that the economy is looking good, but it's not. As Peter says up here, you build a strong economy when people are employed productively making things or providing services. And that is not what we're doing, and that's not what we've been doing for the last, since 2008, really, but it's just accelerated and gotten worse. As Peter put it, the checks are in the mail, but the only reason they don't bounce is because the Fed is printing money. This is not a strong economy. This is a gigantic bubble. Absolutely correct. But people on Wall Street can't differentiate between a bubble and a genuine economic growth. Well, you'd figure after 2008 and after dot-com collapses, after housing collapses, that these people would be smarter, but they're not. We are in a huge bubble right now, folks, and your best insurance against this huge bubble is hard assets, tangible assets like gold and silver. Peter also points out, despite the fact nominal interest rates are rising, real interest rates are actually falling. Inflation is accelerating faster than interest rates, and short-term rates remain at zero. I don't know where people got the idea that affects the price of gold, what affects the price of gold is a yield on a 10-year treasury. Exactly. That's pretty stupid in my opinion too, Peter. Or that the yield on a 30-year treasury. That's not it. There's a lot of risk when you buy that far out on the yield curve, especially when rates are this low. The idea that people think that 1.6% is something great, it's just insane. That's just insane. The cost of living is going to be, if you buy these things and you think you're going to do well, you are insane. The economy is not going to get any better. There's going to be less and less people at work than there was prior to this virus. They screwed the pooch on this whole deal. Half the restaurants, half the service industries out there are going to be out of business. They're out of business already. Look at the amount of unemployed out there. How many is it now? It's just 50 million? I don't even know. They think they're going to fix that anytime soon? No. The only way they're going to fix it with cheap, free money, and that is only going to last so long. So, oh boy, that's a long article, Peter. The rate that is important when contrasting it with gold is the overnight rate and the Fed funds rate. That is stuck at zero and it's not going anywhere. So that's the rate you need to watch, is the overnight rate. And as Peter said, it's stuck at zero. It's not going anywhere. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell keeps telling us that. During testimony before Congress last week, Powell telegraphed this. He kept telling us over and over that he thought it would take 3 years to get to 2% inflation target. This despite the fact that recent University of Michigan sentiment revealed consumers expect a 3.3% inflation in the coming years. But consumers are wrong. Inflation is likely to be much higher than 3.3%. But at least they're closer to it than the Fed. The Fed's completely got it wrong, and it's not the first time. They got 2008 wrong. They've gotten a lot of things wrong for a lot of years. So you think they're going to get this one right? I don't think so. Well, good article. You should take a read yourself. Put it on your homework page. Peter Schiff, anybody betting against gold is going to lose. It is on ZH. You can read ZH for free, and I won't go into a long speech on why I like ZH. Let's move along here to our questions. Hey, listen, I told you I was going to try something new. So here's a silver and gold weekend wrap-up I did earlier in the week, or on the weekend on Sunday. And what I did is I went and answered a bunch of questions that were on the video in the comment section. But you know what? I think I'm going to do that on a daily basis. So let's move into Monday's report right here. And I'm going to answer some question here on Monday's report. Let me hit that pause button. Or I'm going to answer some comments here. I'll go down to the bottom. D-Man772. Wake up, people. The only people making money is the dealers due to high premiums. Well, you can see I replied to the gentleman here. Good morning to you, D-Man. Remember, all dealers, all coin shop, and everyone else are paying high premiums too, and this is absolutely true. D-Man, it's not greedy dealers that are charging these premiums. It's lack of product. And if I have to go out there and I have to pay $3 an ounce or $2.50 an ounce or whatever to buy silver 1-ounce rounds or 100-ounce bars, I need to make 25 cents, 50 cents, $1 an ounce, depending on how much I'm selling. So I've got to charge $1 an ounce, but I'm not making that full. I'm not making $4 and $5 an ounce. So your thoughts that it's just dealers making money on the high premiums is completely wrong, sir. And in fact, if you get an opportunity, call me between 10 and 4 Mondays through Fridays at 954-493-8811. If I got a few moments, I'll explain exactly how this works, how I buy gold and silver and how I resell it, not where exactly I get the stuff from, but how the whole deal works, because you obviously got it wrong, sir. But I do appreciate you watching the show. Christos One Bahamas says, next comes the parabolic. Well, this is what we're just talking about, Christos. I believe that we're going to have a lull, a calm before the storm, which we're having right now. Since last August, metals are down about 20%. Gold is. Silver, not so much. Silver's doing really good, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But gold's down about 20% from its high last year. But again, it's a calm before the storm. I think it provides a great buying opportunity. And as I said, buy these dips and wait. we're going to see that parabolic. I don't like parabolic. I like to see a steady rise first, Christos, but the parabolic happens when you get into bubble territory. But we'll be liking that too, because we'll recognize where we're at when we do get into parabolic territory, and we'll be selling off part of our position and hopefully buying something else that's cheaper. Brand, I agree that local bullion is the best. My local has better prices and no paper trail. Online is good if you want more variety. Dems love war. Yeah, I agree. I'm always talking to people and saying, hey, buy local when you can. Keeps the money local. And this is a big problem that I think a lot of the little cities and counties and places across the country are going to have big issues. We've lost so many small businesses in the last year. And buying from Amazon and buying from online resellers that are outside your state, outside your community, is not helpful, in my opinion. Even if you have to pay a little more to buy local, that would be my recommendation. You're doing your community a service, and you're really doing yourself a service. So I agree with you 100%. My local has better prices and no paper trail. Well, I don't think he'd be happy if you saying no paper trail. That's alluding that he's doing something illegal, sir, and I'm sure he's not. In cash sales in the United States, under $10,000, you can do cash sales as long as you're not suspicious of the person and you don't think they're doing anything illegal. So, you can say that's kind of like no paper trail, and there's nothing illegal about that. But yeah, we just talked about that a little bit. You're kind of anonymous when you buy gold. So unlike cryptocurrency, yeah, you do have privacy with precious metals. For sure, Brand. Online is good if you want more variety. Not necessarily, but I will admit the online guys do have good variety, but their prices are quite high, in my opinion. And Dems love war. Well, I don't know if they love war. Everybody loves peace, but it seems to be a lot more wars under the Democratic administrations. So I believe you got that right, sir, as far as that goes. I don't know if they love it, but I do notice that there's more wars historically under their rule. Boombox, hey, I like that. Number one again. I'm getting used to this number one thing. I'm new to YouTube, so I said, what does number one mean? And then I realized they were the first ones to post. Good to you, Boombox. Prestigious Precious Metals, another great episode. Thank you, sir. You are a loyal listener, and I really appreciate that. And you make some really cool products. If you get a chance, go to Prestige Precious Metals here. He's one of those guys that pours all these cool little silver things. Keller Robert, hey, you're out in Southern California. You gave me a call and told me, thanking me for doing my show. Thank you for watching, Robert. I really appreciate it. It makes me even want to do it more when I get calls like that. So, hey, thanks for calling me and thanking me as well. And if I can ever be of assistance to you, give me a call anytime. There's Prestige Precious Metals asking a question. I have a question for next week. Do you think, you asked me this in the store when you came by the other day, sir. Do you think non-fungible token precious metals will ever hit off? A few episodes you talked about gold-backed crypto. I got to tell you, I don't even know what a non-fungible token is. So you're talking to the wrong guy. You know way more than I do about cryptos. The episode I had a couple weeks ago, I was just saying that, one of the things I don't like about cryptos is it's not backed by anything. It's just 1-0. It's there's nothing tangible backing it. You can't even hold a crypto in your hand. Really, it doesn't exist. So I was thinking to myself, and that's what I did on the show, is I just said, hey, what if there was a crypto that had, an ounce of gold that had a serial number and was backed with that crypto? And I was talking about how much I would love something like that. And we did end up finding that the Perth Mint has something similar to that through ERC20 token or something like that. No less, I'm not experienced enough to talk about this, and maybe at some point I'll learn a little more and we'll talk about a gold-backed crypto again. William Anushi, the ratio is now 65-1, my friend, not 80-1 as you said. And yeah, I saw that. So, hey, listen, I do these shows kind of like live. Not really, I record them, but we don't edit these. Once I start talking and my mouth starts blabbing and I start making mistakes, there's no way for me to correct them. So you're absolutely right. I did say 65-1. Or I said 80-1 instead of 65-1. I do apologize, and thanks for pointing it out. I will say one thing, though. The biggest critic out there of these shows is me. I listen to them after I do it, and I cringe sometimes. I catch all my little mistakes like this, quoting the wrong ratio, mispronunciating words like I just did. Oh, geez. So I am my own worst critic there, but I do appreciate you guys pointing these things out, and it's helpful. It really is. I mean, if you're doing it politely and civilly, I appreciate it a little bit more. And William, you did it as well. You pointed it out politely. So I did make a mistake, and again, thanks. I appreciate you pointing out some mistakes, and it helps me kind of not make them again. Hopefully, Brian Pedersen, thanks for your show and explaining the gold and silver charts. Very helpful info for all of us precious metal nerds. And that's what we are. We are precious metal nerds, that's for sure. Oh, you're welcome very much, Brian. I appreciate you watching this show. The whole point, sometimes I feel like I'm just blabbing here, and I'm not sure that I'm teaching people much. However, I figured that the good thing is, if you teach a man to fish, or if you give a man a fish, he'll fish for, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, gosh, what did I just tell you about doing these things to someone live? If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for life. And my philosophy is, rather than just give you a fish here and there, is to teach some of my customers, my local customers, good tools that make them smarter buyers. Because not only does it help them, it helps me as well. And if I can teach them on a video format like this, it's less questions that I have to answer on the phone and in the store. Does that make sense? Hey, thanks for watching, Brian. I really appreciate it. Keep It Real says, excellent content, and thanks for the timely update. Good inclusive range of information gets many of us spend a lifetime trying to balance the controlled manipulation and live a prosperous life. Yes, sir, me too as well. The 70 to 80 spike was an exciting and fun experience. Witnessed some very interesting and memorable transactions. Still have an opinion and appreciation for the activity we say. Thanks, Keep It Real, and you are certainly keeping it real there, sir. I like that. How-to tutorial tips and knowledge says the Fed and Wall Street elites keep demonizing silver, the real money, and press the price as low as possible. Don't sell, keep stacking. I'm with you 100% there too, buddy. Keep stacking them out there. Buy these freaking dips when you can. 100% right with you. Let me move on to yesterday's report, and let me put that on pause here. And let's see how many questions or comments we had yesterday. Oh, just a few, so I'll be done with this show shortly. So bear with me. And again, in the future, I think I'm going to do these comments, answer these comments every day, so it won't be as long. We'll get them done a little quicker. Cyber Gypsy says, just put an ad blocker on your computer, no ad will show. And I scratched my head. I said, what is Cyber Gypsy talking about? Then I realized I was talking about the Zero Hedge and how I pay $1 a day not to look at all those ads that if you don't want to look at the ads, pay the $1 a day. But he mentioned that you can put an ad blocker on your computer and not look at any ads and get the content for free still. Hey, that's a great idea. Thanks, Cyber Gypsy. Look into that. Beto D said, wanted to buy some silver today, but should I wait a while? Once I get my stimulus, I'm buying gold. So wanted to buy some silver today, but should I wait? Beto, I think that right now silver is pretty much near its bottom. Although it's tough to say. I've said that if the entire markets collapsed like they did in 2008, it took down gold and silver with it, but only temporarily, and it was really hard to find the product like it is now. So I'd say, yeah, you should buy some silver right now. Just keep cost averaging at this price, this sub $30 price. Where it's at right now. Wait for the dip to go a little lower. Yeah, possible, but it's tough to say. I'm expecting at some morning we're all going to wake up and we're going to see the price of silver and gold, skyrocket right through the roof. So don't wait too late to build your stack. Robert, hey Brian, thanks. Well, hey Robert, thanks. I appreciate you watching as well too. VJ says you can stop explaining why you like Zero Hedge. God, you know how I said it's like a broken record. Sometimes I wonder, God, am I just blabbing on these shows? And someone's going to make a comment down there. Yeah, Brian, you're blabbing, and I probably deserve it. But I kept explaining. I explained to him, it's damned if I do and damned if I don't. I get some flack for using Zero Hedge, so I like to explain why I use it instead of corporate sources. Doing these dailies, it is sometimes hard. Doing these dailies, it is hard not to be, redundant. However, good input, and as I thought, I do repeat it often as of late. Thanks. I got to be careful how I answer things. My spelling and my, I don't understand that too much. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about Zero Hedge and why I read it all the time. So you hit it right on the head, VJ. I seem to repeat myself on some certain things. Thanks for bringing that up. How-to tutorial tips and knowledge. Where do people buy silver? All stores are empty. Buy physical silver, gold, copper, nickel. Don't buy paper. I don't think all stores are empty right now. I'm not quite sure where you're living at. How-to tutorial tips and knowledge. That's a long name. I just suggest calling around to your local shops, even if they don't have it in stock. Many times, sometimes I don't have a lot of product in stock, and on large deals, people come in and order, 100 ounces of gold or 500 ounces of gold, 1,000 ounces of silver. I normally don't ever keep that in stock, so most of the time I'm placing orders. So I suspect that if your local dealer doesn't have the stuff in the case, don't hesitate to ask him. If you give him some money, can he order it for you? That's what I would suggest. But, it is right. I'm out of 1 ounce rounds at the moment, and I've never been out of 1 ounce rounds in the last 25 years. So, yeah, there is a scarcity of product out there, but there's still product available. Michael Andrecht says, old school. If you do not hold it, you don't own it. You're right on, brother. I agree with you 100%. A piece of paper doesn't mean you own anything, really. It's just a promise that you do. Brian Peterson's got another gold buffalo delivered today. Man, you're a rich guy, dude. Those are like $200 over spot. I have a couple here in the store, but I don't really want to sell them because I think they're kind of pricey. But hey, good deal. Stacking some more gold there, Brian. It's all a 2021 because the previous years are sold. It's funny that so many of the gold coins I like, let me read the rest, are sold out, but they show the price dropping at the same time. Yeah, that's the thing. Is I talked about that the other day. I saw an article in Zero Hedge that said that steel prices were skyrocketing and that there was no steel on the market, and that would make sense. When prices are skyrocketing and there's no product, it means it's a supply and demand thing. But for some weird reason, we've got gold market tanking. Meanwhile, there's no gold product out there. It just makes no sense. It just tells me that there's a lot of monkey hammering and manipulation going on here, and it has something to do with paper. X's and O's, zeros and ones. X's and O's, I'm sorry, that's hugs and kisses. Zeros and ones. When I move around here, monkey hammer is no conspiracy, Bud. You're absolutely correct, Bud. I agree with you 100%. Every time they smash the price down, I go buy. Hey, yeah, I like this guy. He's a buy the friggin' dip buyer. I can play their little game. 100% agree, Jay Gill. And for the rest of you folks out there that got a little nervous with the price of gold and silver being down, listen to his advice. Buy more, don't sell. We are in the calm before the storm, and it provides a good buying opportunity. That's really it for comments. I got to them fairly quickly, and I think I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to answer. So if you got any questions or anything, or any comments you want to make, put it down in the comment section, and I'll get to it and do my best to answer it. Wow, that was a long show today. Yesterday I showed you this gold to silver ratio chart, and again, the one gentleman reminded me that I kept repeating. I don't think I kept repeating. I think I said it once or twice that the ratio was 80 to 1, when in fact it's really 65 to 1, and he had mentioned 68 to 1. But I looked up this morning; it's around 65 to 1, and that puts it right about here. Here is when we got taken off the gold standard, 1971 by Nixon, and if you look between here and here, you'll see that the gold and silver ratio quickly climbed real fast once we got off the gold and silver standard, and once we went through a few bull markets. Now there's your 1980 bull market with gold and silver. There's no bull market right there at all, actually. Where's our next bull market? Is 2012 right there. But you really don't see it here. But the gold and silver, what I like about this chart, when you get a chance, save this. It shows recessions, and this is pretty cool. But anyways, we're looking at 85 to 1. Sorry, I just did it again. 65 to 1 gold to silver ratio at the moment. So that is correct. Well, that's really about it. Let's take a look at the gold and silver prices. Look at that, 1711. I'm going to do a quick refresh and see it's gone down a little bit more. Has it? No, sitting around 1712. We could see sub 17 this week. It's very possible. Again, provides a great opportunity to buy the dip. What's odd is that the price of silver hasn't gone up to tighten up that gold to silver ratio. What's really happened is the price of gold has come down quite a bit, and silver has kind of maintained its own, which is a bit strange. Right now the ratio is around 65 to 1. Let's see what the range was on gold today, 1709 to 1740. Listen, folks, if you thought about buying gold, this is a great opportunity to buy it. If you can get a good product out there, don't overpay and buy gold eagles and buy other products that are costing you 150 to 200 bucks over spot. There's good access to some gold bars out there, 1 ounce gold bars. You can buy them for like 90 bucks spot plus 90, spot plus 80, depending on the quantity that you're buying, and even cheaper if you're buying large quantities. So avoid paying those big premiums for 120, 150, $200 over the price of gold for those other products. Let's take a look at silver range, 2604. So we could see below 26 this week as well. But silver hasn't gotten as monkey hammered as you would expect it to have gotten monkey hammered, considering how much gold has gotten monkey hammered here. 2604 to 2680, that is quite a range there actually. But we may see sub 26 again. Provides a good opportunity to do what, folks? Buy the frickin' dips. Well, that's really about it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 if you got any questions or to ask me what the best deal of the day is. As I said, if you're sitting on gold and silver and you're a fairly new buyer and seller, relax, don't worry. If you can buy more, buy more. If you can't, just ride this out, and you're going to be rewarded greatly for it, in my opinion. That's it. If anything crazy happens today, I'll come back and do another video. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to answering some more comments. So don't forget to ask your questions in the comment section below. And please, if you get a chance, hit the subscribe and like button too. Thanks. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.